he said, "That madness we shall never accept here in Zimbabwe." Homosexuality has become a contentious topic in Africa.
First of all, I don't think anyone in their right mind would choose to be an asylee. Given the consequences, the things you have to go through, losing your citizenship, it's really scary.
A wedding between two men had been scheduled to take place at a private villa in the beach resort of Uganda. George Matandora has seen
So Leon's he's a refugee from Congo. He survives and supports 8 children on the basis of doing sex work with men. But in terms of when he got to Uganda, he has never explained to any of the officials that he had to encounter in the course of trying to become a refugee here that was the real reason why he left. Okay, if they've taken a decision to themselves that I am going to talk about this, they don't know quite how far to take it. So it's likely that as they get questioned, they will slightly rephrase it or reframe it the second time round, or the third time round, or the fourth time round. It's a particular problem if you're expecting people to tell a story about themselves which they've never told before.
So at 16, that's when I realized I had to find a way to get away, because these people were not going to stop, and I wasn't going to stop either.
There's a whole system there at Home Affairs before the sun comes up. A lot of bribery happens, a lot of money change hands to position yourself better in the queue.
I really knew what I wanted. I was a woman, and if I'm going to even have a relationship, it's going to be with a boy.
That is the huge challenge that we face, measuring and balancing constitutional protections and rights on the one hand, as opposed to people's attitudes.
My major concern at the moment is the poor quality of assessment of people's claims for asylum.
When I arrived in the UK, it was the 17th of September. I didn't know anything about asylum. I was thinking it was like moving from one town to the other. Then they had to put the strains on my leg, just below the ankles, and then up in the thigh. Then they lifted me in the air, and one of the guys just held into the handcuffs on there. And all my weight here was so hurting. I was crying, saying, "Please, please." Then they could not listen. They just dragged me up to the plane.
Well, the UK Border Agency has given its response to this story, saying, "We only return those individuals whom we and the independent courts have found to have no fear of prosecution or serious harm upon return to their home country."
They were asking quite odd questions. Why are you lesbian? What happens when you sleep with men? What stops you not being straight? Why can't you get married?
She made tiny mistakes, and the Home Office jumped up and said, "You didn't say that. You said you were asleep with your girlfriend."
The worrying thing is that the doctors who had seen her over time not only diagnosed her as having chronic symptoms soon after leaving Uganda, but also felt that those symptoms were becoming worse the further through the UK appeal system she was going.
They wanted me to tell them how I had sex, to prove my sexuality. It was kind of degraded to maximum.